Season, the Dallas Wings are finally showing signs of life, and just in time, Arike's locked in, Paige is settling in, and tonight they've got another chance to make a statement win over a Fever team that's still trying to find their way. Will we see another level up or a step back? Oh, and did someone say Paige versus Ari round 2? We've got the matchups, the momentum, and Quita Loves Sports. Let's get into it. What is up, Wings fam? Welcome back to the DLLS Wings Show. I'm your host, Erika Day. I'm joined by I always want to call you the wrong name, Bobby Caralla. And of course, Quita Loves Sports, who I've already said is joining the show live in the studio. I'm so excited. We had Quita on PHNX Mercury show on Monday. Now she's on the DLLS Wing Show. I told her on Monday she was kind of making her first stop on the best ALLCITY WNBA show, but you know, I kind of am gonna probably change my mind after this episode. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm really excited to have you both today. How the heck are you guys doing in Dallas?
It's hot outside, but it feels good in here. So I feel good.
Fired up. It was a big week for the Mavs. It's going to be a big weekend for the Wings. Game tonight, another game before free agency start. It's like it is peak basketball season right now. If you are a basketball junkie, today is the day for you. And I can't wait.
You guys have just like minor news in Dallas, right? Like just really small number one related news, you know?
Yeah, a little bit of stuff going on. So on Wednesday, the Mavs had a draft party where they took Cooper Flag number 1. Paige was there, stole the show, did a whole press conference and everything, of course, because they're about to play in that same building at American Airlines Center here in a few hours. And before the show, I outed myself as a non-drink knower because I thought a Shirley Temple was lemonade and tea, and that is Paige's Gatorade flavor. I was very swiftly corrected. It's not Gatorade and tea, or whatever, lemonade and tea. I can't wait to try it. Cooper Flag is also a Gatorade athlete, and so I'm hoping that they get a combo pack to the DLLS Sports Studio pretty soon because I'm thirsty.
I had told Bobby pre-show I've tried and I've almost nearly exhausted all my outlets to get these dang Gatorades to us, but it's okay. I've got one more avenue I haven't tried yet, and I feel like it could be our big W here. So, you know, the Wings just picked up a big dub over the Atlanta Dream. I think it's our turn to pick up a big dub versus Gatorade and PepsiCo.
You know any Gatorade people?
Nope, but if y'all get Gatorade, ship one bottle to Chicago, okay? Please.
We got you.
Yeah, that's no problem. But, you know, I want to talk just for a second about the win over the Dream because I do feel like it was kind of a turning point for the team. And I guess before we get into that, I want to ask Quita, like, this your first time on the Wing Show. What, they're 13 games in, maybe 14 if I'm super mistaken. But just your viewpoint on the Wings thus far throughout the season, you know, the changes that have been made to the lineups and things like that, just your overall view of the Wings right now.
I think the Wings they're ascending right now. So to start off the season, I was wondering what this Paige and Arike experiment was going to look like. Also, I had a lot of questions about Myisha Hines-Allen starting, and just it was a whole thing with this team. And I think that having both of your post players go overseas to play in Eurobasket really has turned the page.
Hey,
that was not on purpose.
Hey.
Not on purpose at all. But
kablam!
But like it has really,
yeah.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. It has really sort of like changed what this team is doing. I think Paige and Arike are actually meshing way better now because again you've been playing for a while together. So that's something I think that Arike, it feels like they're sort of like taking turns of like who's gonna do what. And I also love the trade for Lee Yarou. I think that is actually a huge part of the win against Atlanta is Leah Rue wanting out at Seattle because she wasn't playing much, because they already have a great front court already. So they didn't need her. And so she goes over to Dallas, and she has found her footing in Dallas. Starting Leah Rue makes a lot of sense. And I actually love the fact that Myisha Hines-Allen, who is a good player, but to me is not really a starter. I like that she doesn't actually have to really start. And I just think it's a whole lot better. For me, this Dallas Wings team is all about Paige, Arike, and whoever that center is. And I like where this team is. I think this team is sort of ascending in the right direction. And I actually like that they're doing it at a time where DJ Carrington's hurt, right? She's out. And so your defensive backstop is out, and you're still figuring out ways to beat a really good Atlanta Dream team. And so I feel very good about where this Dallas Wings team is, and I think it's starting. The ascension is starting. Probably slow for some people, but yeah, I like it.
That's a great shout on Lee at the 5 and the center being so important, because Paige and Arike need all this space, right? Like, they can both drive to the basket, they can both pull up, operate in the mid-range, shoot the 3 and all that stuff. But earlier in the season, we're talking about having Nalissa and Myisha Hines out there, or Tierra McCowan in there. You have a bunch of players that can't shoot that are crowding the lane, but Lee was flicking the wrist from 3 the other night. I mean,
she can knock it down.
She's got range, and that gives so much space. And then Myisha Hines-Allen is able to take some threes every now and then, or post up in the corner. There's not as much pressure on her to set screens and all that stuff. Like, Lee can handle all of that. So it really does feel like everything's sort of like falling into place a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree about the Leah Rue acquisition being probably the most important thing. And I think the lineup changes we saw over the last 10 days or so couldn't have come at a more ideal time. Obviously, with Dejanay Carrington being out, it changes things, especially on the defensive end for them. But I think, as with her out, you have a little bit of time to trial and error with the roster that you do have. And then, to Quita's point, with 2 of your post players being away in Eurobasket, you get to kind of test the waters with everything else and see what works and what doesn't. And if you don't get wins in this time, no one's going to be, pressing them on the glass, because again, your 2 main centers are away in Europe. So I think that this win versus the Dream really showcased all the best parts of the team. And, I think it's a big win for them to build on. To your point, the Wings the Dream is a very good team, and they're going to hurt somebody in the playoffs. They're going to shoot somebody out of their own gym come September. And so, to be able to knock off a team like that this early in the season with all of your pieces out that they had, including but not limited to Dejanay Carrington, I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, it's good to see, and we'll see if that magic from that Dream game can actually continue to American Airlines Center in about a couple of hours from now.
Do you think Lee is a starting caliber player?
For Dallas, yes. For sure, for Dallas. For other teams, maybe not, but definitely for Dallas, 100%. She needs to be the starter.
They've needed a starter, Yeah. I mean, Louisa played well too. Louisa did play well too, but they just need a center so bad.
They do. Yeah.
No, I can't wait for Louisa to come back, though. I think Louisa really, to your point, Bobby, the spacing on this team can be really terrible sometimes, and Louisa helps so much with that. So I'm excited to see the combo of Lee and Louisa on the floor together, if at all possible, because I think it'll be an entirely new look for the team that will be much better than what we've seen on the offensive end, especially.
Yeah, I think the rotation is going to be very interesting to see once she does come back. Just I think Lee should start. However, if Louisa starts, that's fine. I just want to see that. How do you divvy up the minutes between those 2 players, and then figure out every now and then to get Tierra McCowan in there as well?
Yeah, definitely a lot of minutes to go around, and big names to kind of give minutes to make them happy and hopefully get their best foot forward on the court. But as we look ahead to tonight versus the Fever, I guess with Paige and Erika, you guys already talked about it. They're kind of finding their footing playing together. It's come along slowly but surely. And I guess, what are you guys looking for from the 2 of them tonight before we get into the Fever side of things to see success for the Wings?
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Good vibes. Bring the juice. There's gonna be 20,000 people in there, and the Wings have a couple guards that can put on a show. And we're still waiting. I mean, there have been moments, right? There's been quarters where they've been taking turns and both dominating. We've been waiting for the game where it's just like you look up and they both have 30. You know, I don't want to get everyone too excited, but like, do it. Just do it tonight. Do it tonight. You might as well do it tonight, right?
This is the biggest home crowd that they're gonna have this season. So like, yeah, do it tonight. Here, my prediction is that I think Paige is probably gonna get around like 22 to 24 points, and Arike is probably gonna do the same. If they both went for 30, that'd be wild. I have Paige getting a double-double, and Arike is going to get 2 really awesome steals in today's game. That is going to make the highlights a little bit. So, like, yeah, they're going to both play really, really good. And I guess we'll probably wait till later to give actual predictions of who's going to win. But yeah, they're both going to have really good games, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is a big game for the duo. I think, the guard play in Indiana has really struggled. Their backcourt is still trying to find their footing. And obviously with Caitlin being out, that does change the, landscape for them. And they've gone through a lot of change even just within the last week. So it'll be interesting to see like the lineup that they put together to kind of, play against Paige and Arike.
You can... I mean, it's like this with any sort of dynamic duo, right? Especially ones that play a similar position. Every team can usually find a way to stop one really good player, right? But how many teams can stop 2 really good players if they're both feeling good, if they're both playing well, especially if they're both shooting it well? I mean, you can overwhelm a team like that. And Indiana likes to play fast too. Obviously, with Caitlin out, it's gonna be tough, but this game is gonna be so back and forth and so up and down and so many fast breaks. And that's how the Wings want to play. Like, this could be played at their pace in their gym with a ton of fans. Like it could be a fun one.
You guys are in Dallas. I'm not. Are you guys hearing anything about like hype for the game?
I mean, people in this office are going to the game. Some as media and some as buying ticket holders. Quita made a special trip down here to go to this game. Like,
literally, I'm here, and also I've been like just walking around, and I've seen some actually quite a few Fever fans with their shirts on and whatnot. Saw some Dallas folks, Dallas Wings fans as well, but it seems like the Fever contingent is here in Dallas, and it should be a fun one.
Yeah, and like I was saying, the other night, Paige is at this Mavs draft party. Obviously, it's a draft party for the Mavs, so Mavs fans are there. But Paige shows up, and it's like, I mean, she's the celebrity. She's the one that people want to see, and you have a big game like that in that building, you're winning a whole lot more fans over. So it is like, it's I don't want to say Wings fever. That would be such a lame pun. Wings mania could start tonight.
I like Wings fever.
If they beat the fever, and the Wings will give you a different fever.
Oh man. Okay. Well, to our earlier points, Crystal Collins has kind of changed up the lineups a lot over the last week or so. Moved Leroux into the starting lineup, Kayla Charles as well, and then just moved some things around as far as rotational minutes. And things have looked so much better for the Wings. Kayla Charles is a huge piece of that, in my opinion. Kind of to the point we had earlier about spacing the floor. She's kind of changed the landscape for them as far as spacing. But I'm interested to see tonight how that continues to play out, because without Dejanay, like I talked about it last week, Dejanay is a huge connecting piece for this team. And I think that continues to stay like the truth. But without her, how can the people that are filling in, not necessarily in her same role or position, but who's going to step up to be that connector, whether it is on the defensive end or just someone else that's not the big duo, to help them space the floor so that they can get their shots off and they can have a little bit of space to work with.
Which again is where I come to Leroux. and I really do think that her in that starting spot will help to stretch the floor, even where like, maybe Charles' shot isn't falling. Like, I think Lee can really be that big piece there. And like, hey, who knows? Maybe Melissa Smith, maybe today is the day that she goes off.
Hey,
that day is coming eventually this
Former
season.
team?
It is.
that's what I'm saying. Melissa
against
Smith
the Fever,
revenge game.
The
Yeah.
script needs to be written. Come on, Melissa Smith. Like, that would be so fun to see.
Let's catch
Meanwhile,
Melissa Fever.
Dijane just gets to celebrate with her on the sidelines. Like, that sounds like a blast to me personally. I'm jealous of anybody that gets to be in the building for this potential Melissa Smith, go crazy moment. I feel like this would be a good indicator that the Fever are going to walk away with a loss in Dallas if Melissa Smith is going off for 15 or 20 points. That's a good indicator for Wings fans.
Heck yeah. Hey, Erika, so I know you can't see it here, but Dorothy Gentry is just off screen. She's in the studio now. So I think she's going to come in and tag me out. But can I hit this read first real quick before we do?
It's your world, Bobby.
The future is bright, okay? It's really bright outside right now, but the future is even brighter. Wings Mania, Wings Fever, if you want to call it that, is here. And you need sunglasses, but if you're anything like me, wherever you go, you're probably going to leave your sunglasses there for about 2 or 3 days longer than you were there because it's easy to fall out of your pocket, take them on your shirt, they're going to slide off. You set them on the table next to you, boom, they're gone. You know what that feeling is like. I've experienced that feeling all the time. But at Shady Rays, they have changed the game. Their sunglasses are made for real life, seriously good-looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. I take a pair of mine with me everywhere I go. And when I lose them or when I break them, and if you do as well, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair, no guilt trip, just replacements. So now you can actually wear your sunglasses without fear at concerts, on hikes, on the boat, inside American Airlines Center. Doesn't matter wherever you want to go. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DLLS35. That's a new code, DLLS35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Also, game time. It's about to be game time at American Airlines Center, and if you're trying to sneak in there at the last second, don't do it without a ticket, and game time is the best place to go to get those tickets. Let's say you've been to College Park a million times. Let's say you've never been to American Airlines Center, and you're looking at section 224 versus 305. What's the view like? Well, with game time, you can enter your seat, and you will see a panoramic 360-degree view from your seats. You know exactly what the sightlines are going to be like, and also it'll show you upfront pricing. Their all-in pricing will let you know exactly what you are going to pay for that ticket before you get to the checkout screen, so there's no nasty surprises. Oh, a nice $300 convenience fee. Now, none of that on Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create a new account, redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Quita, what time is it?
Game time.
Oh, man.
All right, are we making the switch? Hey, it was fun. Oh, this is
Thanks,
informal.
Bobby.
We're just doing that. Erika, I'll see you next week.
See you next time, Bobby.
See you, Bobby.
Quita, since it's just you and me, real quick. And
Yes.
I told you I was going to mention it, and I'm just going to mention it real quick before Dorothy comes on screen. Okay, this is the great 2021 Final Four rematch that I've been waiting on.
It is.
And
it is.
The Indiana Fever did me a solid and signed Ari McDonald, 3 or 4 days ago. Shout out to them for taking care of this for me and making sure that I was going to get the rematch of my dreams. I don't expect Ari McDonald to start for the Fever. That's not at all what I expect, but it could happen if in some idealistic theory world that only belongs to myself. But that being said, she could come off the bench and give some defensive pressure onto this Wings team, and I'm very excited to watch these two go at it again. This will be the first time they face up since 2021 when Paige, lost to Ari in the Final Four. But I just think that this will ultimately be the Paige Bueckers revenge game over Ari. What do you think?
Probably, because for those who don't know, Ari played for Arizona, the Arizona Wildcats, and they, in 2021, they end up making it to the national championship game, and it was a big deal, and no one expected this team to make it as far as they did, but they did it because they were led by Ari McDonald, who was flat out amazing, and she did her thing against Paige Bueckers and the UConn Huskies, and I don't anticipate her to go off like she did in that game, but should be fun.
Hi, Mayor.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
See you. I'm sorry I'm late. I had on my Mavs hat earlier. Sorry.
I'll forgive you only because of Coop. He seems like a nice guy who I wouldn't want to miss out on meeting either, you know?
Yeah, I
But
didn't get a chance to get in on the conversation earlier about Lee. So whenever y'all are ready to kind of go back to her, I want to have some points there.
let's do it. Go nuts. Come on, Dorothy, bring it on.
I agree with you. Starting lineup. When players switch teams, you never know how they're going to be, but I think she is the glue. Not just, her spacing abilities, as she mentioned, but her size and her physicality and her presence, her rebounding, all of those things kind of help Arike and Paige and their whole pick and roll opens up, for the Wings offense when Lee's there. So I really think that she just may be what they need to continue to flourish. So yeah.
Well, and we didn't really mention this when we talked about it earlier on the show, but I'm most impressed with the way that the entire roster, top to bottom, has handled the lineup changes, because it's not easy to do when you are coming onto a team and expecting to start, whether we're talking about Maisha or literally whoever in the situation. But it's not easy to come into a situation and be told you're going to start and then come off the bench inevitably. But they've all handled it with class and with professionalism, and that's really all you as fans can ask for when they're trying to make changes to ultimately get closer to where they're trying to be, which is winning.
And you can see it at practice. You can see it on the court on game days. You're right that camaraderie is there. It's like next woman up, and they're definitely gelling as a team. They want to win, and whatever that winning looks like, whatever shape it takes, they want to win. So most Kalia Charles, you mentioned her earlier. She was waived and then bought back and has been playing awesome. Okay, she didn't have any attitude. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it. She's all good. She's out there helping this team win. So you're right. They want to win. And they're handling these roster changes and the in and out wonderfully, I think. What do you think?
I mean, from an outside perspective who just watches the games and just watches on social, like it seems like they actually like each other.
Yeah.
And it's hard to fake liking your teammates. And they like each other and they have a good rapport. And it's like, hey, they'll figure it out together, and when they get out on the court, it's like, hey, let one for one, all for one for all, like that type of mentality, and that's good to see, especially for a team that struggled so badly to start the season.
Yes, for sure, because you would think they would, heads down, just different types of, attitudes and whatnot, just all over the place, but you see them gelling together. Next woman up is definitely their mantra. They're a team. And Erika said it the other night. She said it's taken us a little while, a little longer than we expected, but we're turning the curve now.
Well, and I just listened to Paige Bueckers' episode of Philosophy with Deja Kelly this morning. I haven't had a chance to completely finish it, but I did have to laugh when Deja asked Paige what's next, and Paige says winning basketball games. I don't know when that was filmed, so it could have been right before the Dream game, and then in which case she executed the plan perfectly. But which case we're still expecting more wins because she did say plural games,
And
Okay.
I was going to say, Erika, we talked the other day about winning cures everything. And you see as the Wings are beginning to, kind of string some wins along, that now they're coming out and bringing the fight to the team. In the very first, seconds of the game, the intensity is there. As they win, their confidence is growing. And I love that for them.
And we'll see if that confidence continues throughout tonight. at probably the biggest home game they're going to play all season. So it should be fun.
I know. I sure hate the wind out of the sails just a little bit with Caitlin not playing, just a little bit. But Dallas fans, there's still some great basketball going to be played down here at American Airlines Center on tonight. So come on out and support your Dallas Wings.
It's still technically number one pick versus number one pick. I mean, that's true. Aaliyah Boston. Let's talk about her.
Yeah.
She's a huge piece in what the Indiana Fever have. Obviously, they're struggling, but when they look good, it's a lot in part due to the way that Aaliyah Boston is playing. And so I guess I feel like I know what your answers are going to be, but what do you think the Wings' answers for Aaliyah Boston are going to be tonight?
I mean, it's to tell Lee Rue to try your best to contest, but please don't foul.
Right.
Because the worst thing for the Dallas Wings would be for Lee Rue to rack up 2 quick fouls against Aaliyah, which I can absolutely see happening.
Yeah.
I can totally see that happening in like the first 5 minutes of this game, because if I am Stephanie White for the Fever, I am saying for the first 6-7 possessions, the ball needs to go down to Aaliyah Boston. She needs to be the start of this offense rocking and rolling, because in a lot of ways she has been one of the most consistent players for this team all season. And if she can get going early, get the opposing post player in foul trouble,
Right.
it can open up stuff for the Fever down the line. And Lee Rue, she just has to stay out of foul trouble, because that's their only hope to defend Aaliyah Boston.
I definitely concur with Q as well. I definitely concur. The foul trouble we cannot have Lee get into. If she's starting tonight, I don't even know the lineup right now, but I'm sure she will.
I'm assuming
sure
she's going to start.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked if she doesn't.
Right, exactly. I'm wondering how the Fever are doing, with the whole Dawana situation. I mean, I know she's gone now, but how that kind of, bought in Ari, as you mentioned. Again, I'm bringing in the conversations y'all have already kind of had. Sorry about that. But, and so with Ari in now and kind of McDonald and kind of how that, how she fits in, pretty well with the team, just, the chemistry and coming together to play. But in terms of what the Fever's job should be, it definitely is to try to get, whomever is starting, for the Wings in some type of foul trouble, and definitely having Aaliyah be a key to coming out fast and hard and strong and getting your offense going.
Well, it's been something the Fever have been pretty good at most of the season, is coming out and forcing it to Aaliyah early, but then late in games they've gone away from it, and it's cost them.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. Like yesterday, the Indiana Fever lost to the LA Sparks, and they had the game until the fourth quarter when they went away from what was successful.
Right.
They put in a very small lineup that got demolished in the last couple of minutes, and I assume Stephanie White has learned from that game and is not going to do the same thing today, because it's like, hey, feed it to Aaliyah for 40 minutes.
Can I say something about the Fever that I have been chewing on all week with this Dawana Bonner situation, which I don't really want to get into too much, but it's so entertaining to me that Alyssa Thomas would have solved almost all of the issues going on in Indiana right now, like on court problems, like all of their issues, connectivity, turnovers, defense, all of them are solved by Alyssa Thomas if she joins Stephanie White instead of Dawana Bonner. And granted, I still don't know if it would have worked out any differently for them, but I've been giggling kind of to myself all week because I just really believe that Alyssa Thomas can solve all issues, and the Fever would be probably unbeaten if Alyssa Thomas had gone to Indiana instead of Dawana. Do you guys have any thoughts?
I have a slight difference in my thoughts with you, Erika. Like, it would be cool to possibly see Alyssa on the Fever. However, Alyssa thrives in being the person with the ball. Okay. And in the games with Caitlin out, absolutely, I think they would probably win pretty much all those games that with Caitlin out. But she would be the dominant, she would be the dominant ball handler. And I think that Alyssa would actually struggle without being the person with the ball, making this decision of who to pass it to, when, and whether or not she should just take care of herself. In theory, I think that would be fun, but I just wonder about. You're going away from Alyssa. She's at her strongest,
and what makes
when
her,
she has the basketball.
I was going to say, and what makes her a great player. I totally agree. And then you look at the situation with Dawana now, and you wonder what happened there, to where, what was she promised? What was she not in her game, or what made her a strong player for her to want to leave, out of nowhere, to the fans? That is, her game wasn't being, I guess, adhered to or whatever. So she's gone now. So I agree with her with her as well. That
I've been chewing on that thought all week. And, Alyssa Thomas makes coaches look really good all the time. I see it firsthand here in Phoenix. And listen, I'm a Nate Tibbetts believer through and through, but man, Alyssa Thomas makes him look like a heck of a coach. So, the plug and play with her and Stephanie White has been really interesting over the last couple of years, but I just was interested to get your guys' thoughts on that. Obviously, we talked about Aaliyah Boston now. The other kind of big scoring threat for the Indiana Fever, especially without Caitlin, is Kelsey Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so what are you guys looking for from the Wings tonight to kind of at least contain Kelsey Mitchell? And I saw a comment from, I think, Glenn in the chat talking about you can allow Kelsey to go off for 20, but you have to keep everyone else, contained. Do you think that is a winning recipe, or do you think they have to contain Kelsey Mitchell as well?
I definitely think so. I think Kelsey's underrated. I've always felt that way about Kelsey Mitchell and her game. So she definitely needs to be contained. Whatever the Wings need to do to try to make sure that she doesn't have the ball in her hands, and she doesn't get open and free for her shots. They need to do.
Yeah, I agree. If Aaliyah Boston goes off and Kelsey Mitchell goes off, I think it'll start looking like a Fever win for sure if you struggle to contain both of those players. But if just one goes off, I think it's looking a lot better for the Dallas Wings, just because we all know how great of a scorer Kelsey Mitchell is. Like, she can, like, that's just what she does, right? But having that possible 3-point barrage that she might do paired up with a post just back and forth constantly scoring with Aaliyah Boston, I think that'll stretch the Wings way too far, and I don't see them winning if both of those players go for 25 or more. I think it's over for the Wings.
Right.
But anything can happen. We'll
anything can happen. Anything.
Especially in a crowd like the one it's going to be in American Airlines Center tonight. It's going to be absolutely chaos. So I'm really excited for both of you.
It'll be a lot of fun. Mary, you should have came on down.
I don't know if you know this, but the Phoenix Mercury have a heck of a matchup tonight. And I don't think you could pay me to miss it, truthfully. This is one of those games that I look forward to all year. And so I'm really excited. I got a post game coming on. I wish you guys were more available so that way I could get Dorothy on the Mercury show. I need just everybody everywhere all the time, but we're all so busy, I got to pin you guys down to some time so I can keep you guys on the show circulation. You know what I mean?
Yes. Let's do it.
But I will say though, today is just a great day to be a women's basketball fan. Because there are so many games happening tonight. And quite a few of them are happening at the same time, which is not great. Not great at all. WNBA, please fix your scheduling issues next year. Please. We have some days where there's no games at all. And then we have other games where there's six games in the same night. I don't get it.
Pick one.
Yeah. Just spread it out a little bit. But today you have so many options of games to watch. So if you want to watch women's basketball, you're set for tonight. You are absolutely set. And I can't wait to catch up on all the games right before I go to sleep tonight.
Exactly. Scroll through. Yeah.
Well, and I want to mention the Mystics really quick because the Wings are on the first half of a back-to-back here tonight. So they'll play the Fever tonight and then the Mystics tomorrow. And for good reason, there's a lot of attention on the Fever. But the Mystics have a couple of rookies who have been extremely loud. And some would argue are coming for the Rookie of the Year race. You have to argue that, I feel like, at this point, because they have been so dang good up there. But I'm curious to get your guys' viewpoints on the Mystics and the second half of the back-to-back tomorrow.
I'm a huge fan of the Mystics. I've coming into the season, I did not think the Mystics were going to be good. And then for the first couple of games, I'm just like, wow. Yeah. The confidence that Kiki Ira-Affin has, especially as a post player. Absolutely is. Sonia Citron is absolutely confident as well, and she is flat out phenomenal. But I put more emphasis on rookie post players than rookie guards because the WNBA, when it comes to the best players, largely in the WNBA, they're power forwards.
Yeah.
They are post players, right?
Right.
And Kiki Ira-Offin was showing against Brittany Griner, one of the biggest players in the W, that I'm not afraid of you. She was going straight at Brittany Griner. She was going straight at A'ja Wilson and just go down the line of post players in the W. And I love her confidence. I love that she's just like, I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are. I'm going to come at you and I'm going to try my best to win this game. And so I think she's awesome. Sonia Citron, the 3 barrages that she does, it's amazing to see. I love it. Brittany Sykes is great as well. She was hurt yesterday and they still found a way to win. And also Jade Melvin with the chipped tooth. She was still on the sideline cheering for her squad. She is tough as nails, I tell you that.
Yeah, this Mystic squad has come out of nowhere. I think they're 500. They're like 8-8 right now. And you're right. Raise your hand if you had Kiki dominating the Rookie of the Year conversation. I don't.
I'm raising my hand. Please go back to my piece, Dorothy.
I know.
I have been talking about that Kiki Ira-Offin is the A'ja Wilson reincarnate for 2.5 years. I've been talking about this, and she was at Stanford, sitting on the bench, rotting away. And this is no slight to Tara Vanderveer, but I was like, "What are we doing? You've got one of the best college basketball players in the country sitting on the bench, and leads her to USC, and that plays out the way it does." But no, I've been talking the Kiki gospel for as long as one thing about me is I'm a Pac-12 believer. So if they ever played in the Pac-12, I'm probably going to speak. They could be the worst basketball player in the world, and I'm going to speak glowingly of them.
Well, everybody's just now getting on the Kiki train. Her post moves, as you were saying, are crazy. They're insane. Her moves are insane. And again, other than Erika, raise your hand if you had Kiki in the Rookie of the Year conversation. She's already won Rookie of the Month, I think, once already. So yeah, she her moves are crazy, and her and Sonia definitely have the Mystics doing a little something. They're I think 8-8, so they're right at 500. But yeah,
they're very good.
They are,
and it just shows that preseason speculation does not actually matter
at all.
The thing that matters is what happens when you actually get on the court for the regular season. And all this noise about, the Mystics are going to be probably the worst team in the league. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not good. They got a new coach. They got all these young players. They're not going to be good. But look at what we are seeing.
Right.
Look at what we're seeing. An assistant coach turned head coach, a roster of young talent, from Lucy Olsen to Sonia Citron to Kiki Ira-Offin, and you have a team that has fight. They have fight, and they're just like, it doesn't matter. Nothing phases the Misses. They're not scared.
That overtime game against the Wings. I mean, who saw that? That coming. And then both Arike and Coach Coklanis, they pointed to that Mystics loss as what kind of shook them up. So yeah, the Washington Mystics doing a little something.
Yeah, I know it won't be at American Airlines Center, but it'll be just as good of a game, I think, honestly. So it'll be a fun weekend if you're a Wings fan for certain. But Miss Quita, to your point, we got to make some predictions about tonight's game, and then I do want to make a prediction about tomorrow's game, which I kind of hate doing, not knowing the outcome of tonight, but it is what it is. We're working with what we got here. So, your guys' predictions for Wings versus Fever tonight in American Airlines Center.
Ooh, can we do it at the same time? Can we do like a 1, 2, 3?
Wait, are we saying a score or are we saying a WL? How are we saying it? What are we doing?
We should say who's winning.
Okay, so just shout the team out.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Wings.
Erika, what's your issue?
Come on now.
Hater.
I'm going Wings. I already said. This is the Paige Bueckers revenge game, man. I've been waiting my whole life. 3 years for this, man. 4 years. I've been waiting for this dang basketball game to happen, so I'm amped. They're going to catch me in the PHX arena watching the Mercury game. My iPad is going to be pulled up. You know what I'm saying? Dual eyes, very busy tonight. But I think the Wings are going to win. I think Paige and Arike will combine for at least 40 points, and I feel like that's going to be the key here. I want to see them pressure defensively. I think, you guys know the Fever really like to play fast. So as much as they can take away what they want to do, even though it's kind of the same thing the Wings want to do, I think there's benefit in that. I think the Wings need to play fast and in transition if they can get stops, but they need to put the Fever in positions similarly to what you guys are saying about putting the Fever need to put the Wings post players in foul trouble. I think the Wings need to just do that to all of the Fever because they have a little bit of a short bench right now. They're working against a lot of changes that have been made to their roster. And so, there is a lot of newness there. So whatever newness they can kind of take advantage of, I feel like is a really good answer to any of their problems tonight.
Yeah, tonight's going to be I anticipate a really good night for Dallas Wings fans. I think I think everything is going to really, really click.
Right. The stars are lining up, no pun intended. But
especially with Caitlin out, I think you
have to take advantage. You have to take advantage.
Absolutely, because hey, wins matter a lot right now. Because yes, right now Dallas is out the playoff picture, but wins before All-Star are critically important down the line as we get closer to the end of the season for sure.
Stack up a few, and in the W you can get into the playoffs with 20 wins. So stack up a few W's and we'll see.
I still see the vision right now. I see a route to victory, which is the playoffs, I feel like, in the Wings situation right now. So I'm still bought in. And then tomorrow versus the Mystics, I want you guys to do the same little countdown thing. That was cute. That was very cute and fun.
Let me think.
Just let me know when you're ready.
on the second night of a back-to-back, third game in 4 days, 4 or 5 days? Let me think. Okay.
You ready? All right. 1, 2, 3. Mystics.
Sorry. We did high five.
It's Mystics.
Well, we just high five because we matched.
Yeah.
Not because we want the Wings to lose.
I mean,
Elijah, play a sad sound.
It doesn't really matter to me. However, Mystics are winning. The Mystics are peaking. They're really, really good. And honestly, even if it wasn't a back-to-back, I still would have the Mystics beating Dallas. Just because
I probably would. I mean, the Mystics are great. Sonya, Kiki, all of that. I just said because of the back-to-back, because of the third game in 4 or 5 days for the Wings, with all of the hype, pressure, and everything from today's game. And so that's why I said Mystics. But you never know.
We'll see. Anybody can get got. Anybody can lose. Anybody can win.
Any given Sunday.
I'm going to actually go a little bit of a different direction. I love watching a team play on the second half of the back-to-back. I think there's a certain level of momentum that you bring with you. The Phoenix Mercury haven't played basketball in 6 days, and that scares the heck out of me, man. Oh my gosh. It's literally going to be awful. So, I shouldn't say going to be awful. I should retract that statement. But it's going to be very scary for the first 10 minutes of the game. But on the opposite side of that, I feel like on back-to-backs, while yes, to your guys' point, they're going to be tired. I hope that they've got some winning momentum from tonight to carry over in tomorrow and hopefully just keep the good vibes rolling. And also, this isn't speculation, not breaking news here. That's not what my job is. But if they can get Dejanay Carrington back, it will change things for them tomorrow. And so I'm hopeful that
I agree.
If Dejanay can play, I think I'm seeing a revenge game for the Wings go down tomorrow versus the Mystics. They know that overtime loss stunk. I was going crazy on that page 3 to shove us to overtime. Man, I was going nuts in my house. And so to drop that game, I'm sure they were just as disappointed as I am. So I'm hoping for a revenge game.
If just to clarify, if Dejanay Carrington is available tomorrow, I have the Wings winning.
Bark.
And I want to say the same thing too. Now, she didn't practice yesterday at all. And she's out, of course, tonight. So, and there's no practice tomorrow. So I don't know if her availability would be, available, or if she'd still be doubtful, or if she'd be out. So
yeah, but I think Dejanay Carrington changes a lot.
I was gonna say, but if she were to play,
Dejanay is by far, and Quita, like, since the beginning of this Wings show, I've said it. Dejanay is a connector on both ends of the court for them, and I think a huge, huge piece in everyone's expectations for the Wings. Obviously, having the number one pick and Paige Bueckers being on your team plays into that. Arike, everything else plays into it. But Dejanay had such a fantastic season last year that I feel like her coming to Dallas was kind of what made fans think that they were going to be really, really, really good. And so, it's been kind of a disappointing thing to watch, but I'm hopeful that when she makes her return, it will turn the tide in its completion for the Wings.
That's all fans want to know is when is Dejanay coming back. But you're right. A lot of the talk about the Wings and their possible success this year hinged not just on Paige being here, but on Dejanay as well. When we got her in free agency, they'd be like, "Oh, wait a minute, the Wings are really going to be good now." So you're right. The Wings fans were looking for her to make that impact for the Wings, and so her being out these last 3 games. Has made a difference, but we'll see.
Okay, last question. Well, I guess not last. We still got a few more minutes before we have to get out of here. But how I kind of talked about the tempo of the game and how it could play into Wings, benefit or not tonight. How important do you think pace is tonight, and who do you think will walk away with the advantage if it's like a very fast-paced game tonight?
I think for both of these teams, tempo is super important. Like, the Wings want to get moving. You want to push the pace on the court. And also for the Fever, it's the same exact thing. In a lot of ways, their strengths are similar, where you want to push the pace. You want to get easy stops on the defensive end, like get steals and whatnot, and push and go for a fast break layup, fast break momentum 3, that type of thing. For both teams, that's actually very important. But for the Fever, you got to remember, with Caitlin out, this team will play a whole lot slower, and the pace, in a lot of ways, if this is a very fast game, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, it's going to benefit the Wings, not the Fever in this game, because Caitlin's out. If Caitlin is playing, I actually think that it's kind of a wash in a way, with the slight edge to the Fever. If this is a very fast-paced game with Caitlin, but without Caitlin, I don't think that the Fever could match the pace of the Wings, and I ultimately, think it'd be better for the Wings to have a fast game.
Right. They were first place last year in pace. The Wings were they're fourth right now, but they definitely favor a fast-paced style of play. So it would behoove the Wings to ensure that the pace is set for them to succeed.
Well, I just got word that Mr. Kevin Gray Jr. is waiting to join us remotely, and y'all know I got to get my tag team partner up in here, even if it is just for a few minutes. KG, how the heck are you doing today?
Got his wing shirt on?
I see there's 3 queens on, so I had to make sure that I had to acknowledge the 3 queens that are hosting the show before y'all got out of here today, and also to formally introduce myself virtually in this case. Shout out to Quita Loves Sports. Happy to have you in the studio. So welcome to DFW and part of the ALLCITY network. So congratulations and happy to have you.
Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be in Dallas. It's my first time ever in Texas, and so
how's the heat treating you?
It's actually fine. Before I left Chicago, we were in the 90s. For several days, and so actually this is a lot of the same. Though the sun is more intense here than it is in Chicago.
It
is. And Dorothy, it's always good to see you as always. I'm glad
I see your wing shirt, Kevin.
Yeah, your boy's gonna come to the AAC tonight and watch the game. Obviously, it's disappointing that Caitlin Clark won't be available to play, but on the second night of a back-to-back after dealing with a groin injury, I think the Fever decided that discretion is the better part of valor in this case, and they need Caitlin for the rest of the season versus a night in Dallas, unfortunately. But Paige and Arike have a chance to build on what I thought was their best defensive game against Atlanta. I mean, holding the dream to 55 points. Alicia Gray has been phenomenal this year. Obviously, we know what Ryan Howard is capable of. Holding that group to 55 points,
It's huge.
especially huge to begin this home stretch for them. So I'm interested to see if they're able to continue that defensive effort that they had against Atlanta, because that was, if you want Chris Koklanis type defense, that's what he's looking for.
Right.
That's
the identity. Yeah.
Yeah, that he's looking for. So happy to see that they played well, and looking to see if they carry it over against a team in Indiana that's got some bigs in the middle, particularly Aaliyah Boston, who could give them some fits. But I'm looking forward to tonight's game.
Well, KG, you're a little late here, so I'm gonna have to ask you separately. You don't get a countdown like everybody else, but that's okay.
Okay.
We just want to know who you think is going to win tonight. And then obviously tomorrow, the Wings are going to be on the second half of a back-to-back versus the Mystics tomorrow. So your predictions for both games.
Ooh, wow. Let's go 2 for 2. Wings get both of them. Wings get both of them. Why not? They've already won 3 out of their last 4. Why not keep the momentum going? Cooper Flags will be in the house tonight, reportedly for tonight's game. So he'll see his fellow number 1 pick and Paige Bueckers on the floor. So looking forward to seeing that. And then, Washington, Sonia Citron and Kiki Afirian have been fantastic.
Yes.
They have been really, really good for Washington. So I'm excited to see both of them play just from an entertainment standpoint. But, let's just keep the momentum going. And let's see, even with, Dejanay dealing with that rib injury, obviously a couple of folks, playing in Eurobasket. I heard y'all talking a little bit earlier how it feels like Paige and Arike are starting to find their footing a little bit. And even when Arike is not necessarily shooting the ball well, she's finding other ways to impact the game, which has always been something that I've always wanted her to look. If the shot's not going down, because we know she's going to take a lot of them, if it's not going down, find other ways to impact the game, because Paige is going to, be the maestro that leads everything. But at the same time, everyone is, I think, learning to play off of the two of them much better. So we'll see if they can make it 2 for 2 on the first night of a back-to-back starting tonight.
Hey, Erika, did you see in the comments, Caleb agrees with Kevin. He said, I believe in the weekend sweep.
I'm barking. Bark, bark, bark. I think that it's possible.
Yeah.
Have I barked on this show before? I hope that's my first bark. So
that's real Bron Breaker like of you with the barks that you got going on there.
Yeah, it's more like a talk to text type of bark. Not really like, I'm not channeling dog per se. Just wanting to make sure that you understand the depth of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, you've given us your predictions here, but I want to ask you just one more thing about the Wings win over Atlanta Dream. We talked at great length about Lee Rue being the kind of connector in this time without Dejanay and without the Eurobasket players. And just what has your impression of Lee Rue been? I think we talked about the acquisition last week and what we thought it would kind of come to, but now we've kind of seen it come to fruition. And so just what is your takeaway from the Lee Rue acquisition, Ben?
She's been fun, but most of all, she's been productive. I mean, she's already got a double-double already so far in her time, with Dallas. So, her ability to put the ball on the floor, she can shoot it in the mid-range. She's, willing to get in there and bang and get on the glass and be able to help out there. We know that the Wings are one of the best offensive rebounding teams, in the league. So she fits right in from the standpoint of get on the glass, clean up, and make some things happen from there. And look, this team has been devoid of real size, especially now with, Tierra and Luisa, off to Eurobasket. So she's been a breath of fresh air in her short time here. And hopefully as she gets more continuity with the group, she'll find herself getting that much more comfortable. And we know folks like Paige, she's going to find her, as long as she continues to excel in the role. They're not asking her to do too much, but just come in, learn, but do the things that you're capable of, which is, be able to knock down a little bit of mid-range, but also get in there and go rebound. And she's done that very effectively. So, I'm happy that she was able to find a place where she can get some playing time at, because in Seattle it wasn't necessarily going to happen, at least according to, what we understand. So, so far so good. So happy for Lee in the way that she's been playing so far.
Heck yeah. Well, we got to get to these
Yeah.
super chats before we get out here. And they've asked us some questions, and I want your guys' opinions before we go. So it actually works out good. We got Classic Stang Lover. Do y'all think that Louisa can play the 4, Lee and T at the 5? And then the other half of that is, should we start thinking of trading T? He sent 2 super chats. So if you guys want to answer both of those questions.
Go ahead.
I'm never a fan of messing with somebody's job. So I don't know about trading her. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a comment on that one. What do you think about trading her?
I would say that they may want to trade her.
Mhm.
I don't think the market is there
Right.
to actually have another team
getting
say actually, yes, we do want Tierra McCowan and we'll give you something.
Give you something back, right.
I don't see a trade happening now.
Right.
Could Dallas want to trade her?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Right.
But I don't see a market right now for Tierra McCowan because of how she's played so far
In
this
the
year.
past.
Like, it's
Right.
just like there is at this point no upsides as of right now for
Right.
another team to pick her up. Though when she goes to Europe, she's just like balls out of control in Europe.
know.
But then when
What
she
is
comes back in
that?
America, it's just
What is that? I know she does wonderfully overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
so-
interesting thing about Tierra is that she's on an expiring, so she's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. So if you're trying to potentially, have her not walk out the door for free, you may look to try to acquire something in order to get a piece back before she leaves. But otherwise, I'm fine letting her finish out the season here and then
yeah.
take your chances in free agency from there. But yeah, if you're in a roster building, yeah, you might want to try to get something before she walks out the door potentially.
The first half of that question though, Louisa playing the 4 is actually part of the big solution I think lies for this team ahead. Leroux at the 5, Louisa at the 4, and I think this team looks a whole lot different. Do I think that it's the constant starting lineup? No, but I do think it's a lineup that Crisco Collins will be going to a lot once
return.
Louisa's back from Eurobasket.
Yeah, when they come back. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I can
having
see him
one
still
of the two of
tinkering.
them. Yeah,
sorry, go
one of
ahead.
the two of them starting and coming off the bench. I mean, you have Louisa potentially at the 5 and Lee coming off the bench as your backup 5. Like either way, Lee will see playing time in that scenario. So you might have a nice little big tandem there potentially.
Well, and then the other super chat from Classic Stang Lover, and this one's I feel like specifically for Dorothy. Update on Maddie. Saw her shooting from the chair.
Yeah. Oh,
What's
she's
going
still
on
out.
with
She's
Miss
still on
Egress?
crutches. She was on crutches yesterday. And so she is just, shooting from the chair like she was yesterday, but she's not anywhere near right now. She's still on the crutches. She didn't have surgery. They're just kind of working it out, stem cell, heating, all the kind of things. So no surgery, but she's still on crutches.
do we have an estimated
Have
time
they,
when she
given-
may be
They
back?
haven't
Yeah.
given us one since.
Okay.
Yeah, they haven't given us one since they first told us this is what happened. So
Well, I'm glad I asked because I too was wondering the same question. I saw the same clip of her shooting from the chair, and while I'm glad her form is going to stay right, I would like to see her back on the court sooner than later.
if she were just in a boot and not crutches, I would say pretty soon, but she's still on the crutches and the boot. So yeah.
Well, people, we've got a few guests that we've never had on. Actually, only one guest we've never had on before. Quita Loves Sports. Quita, I want to give you a chance to tell everybody in the chat where the heck they can find you. You do 5-day-a-week show, Quita in the morning. I must say, it's ALLCITY's best work of all time. They killed it with acquiring Quita in the off-season acquisitions. And so, I just got to give you the ISO real quick so you can just tell the people where to find you.
That's very kind. Thanks, Erika. But folks can rock out with me on Quita Loves Sports. It's a YouTube channel. Also, I do live stream on Twitter as well, but better viewing experience probably on YouTube. I have a show, Quita in the Morning, every single morning at 7:15 Central Time, 8:15 Eastern Time. Every morning, well, Monday through Friday. We have a good time for about an hour talking about all things women's basketball. We'll talk primarily WNBA during the summer, but like college as well, overseas updates, Eurobasket updates, all that good stuff. So rock out on Quita in the morning, and yeah, that's it.
And
Well, I wanna-
forehead breakdowns for sure.
Love it.
Quita makes, I'm serious, this really was the best offseason acquisition that ALLCITY could have ever made. So I know it wasn't technically in the WNBA offseason, but we'll just rule it for like the women's basketball, market in general,
Talk started in the offseason, so like we can kind of claim it. Sure.
And we got a couple of buzzer beater super chats from Classic Stang Lover. He says that Louisa is my new fave to watch besides Paige Bueckers. And shout out to the guests. Love both the guests. Same. The mayor says they have to return.
Yeah, we got to do it.
Okay. We agreed.
Quita back in Texas.
Thank you.
No problem. And then Dorothy, you can follow Dorothy on Twitter at Dorothy Gentry. That's all your username is, right? Yep. And then
Dorothy J.
Dorothy J Gentry. I was almost there. And then Kevin Gray Jr. Kevin Gray Jr. Sports. Which one is it?
At Kevin Gray Sports.
I was close. Tag team partner did you dirty, and yeah.
Tell Bobby I heard him in the background.
Well, you can follow me at Erika Day, and you can also follow all of us together, sometimes retweeting each other's content off of the DLS_wings on Twitter. It's a place to be, and I hear they're going to have boots on the ground at the Fever Wings game later tonight, so I feel like now is a better time than ever to drop a follow for that account. And in the meantime, we will see you guys on a day next week.
We all silly like the mayor.